G'day guys, Al here from the Real Dad Movement. Thanks for joining me today. This special episode, what we're going to do is going to run through a testimonial with one of our amazing members, Tony. Welcome, Tony.
Hi, good morning.
Tony has an amazing story on where he's come so far, and he's come so far in his journey in such a short period of time, and that's what we're about here at the Real Dad Movement, like really creating sustainable changes and making you realise that there aren't drastic measures or shiny objects or quick fixes or extremes that are going to lead to failure down the track. This is something that's sustainable, has depth, and it's an amazing program. So I guess what we'll do to start off with is we'll run through, Tony, your story, mate, sharing a bit about yourself and your background.
I don't think I'm that exciting, but I'm about to turn 50 years old, and I guess I got to the point where I was 138 kilograms, and I don't know how it got there, but it just got there so fast. With work, we innovate in a lot of products, so a lot of my time's on the computer and not getting physical. So I was sort of sick of dreaming of better days when things would, when I'd feel life and energy all of a sudden like it was going to land on my lap in the lounge room. But the reality was that my family was suffering and I was suffering, and they were starved of my energy and my effort and I guess my actions. I wasn't taking actions to do things that would keep me here long enough to be a big part of their life, and with some energy to create the environment where they could learn from me, and I really wasn't leading my family, in other words. So.
And how long was that going on for, mate? Like, how long did you feel that way?
Well, it's interesting. Back in 2002, I come second in an Australian competition for fitness, and every year since then, I worked it out. It was about 2 kilograms a year I put on ever since. So I went through a lot of different things in my life, like everyone does, but I obviously wasn't coping and doing the things that I needed to do to keep a foundation of good support. I got about 3 hours of sleep a night for 20 years. And it doesn't support any sort of healthy lifestyle. I dreamed of going back to the gym, doing resistance training, which is what I love. Dreamed of all these things that could re-enliven my family, but hadn't actually done anything about it. So I guess about 20 years, it got to the point where I was on a CPAP machine, which is an apparatus that helps you breathe at night time so you don't have sleep apnea. And for me, that's really the end of the road. I mean, you got to have something that helps you breathe. I mean, come on, just under the weight of your own body, the carcass you're carting around all day. So it had been going on for a long time, way too long. Anytime I got anxiety or whatever, I'd basically eat my problems, and it doesn't help you, of course.
Yeah, I bet it'd be probably not a nice feeling as well, mate, when you come to that realisation for yourself and your family.
Yeah, well, you sort of avoid mirrors, and you find you're going about things very differently. Even just tying up your shoes is a bit of a problem. So in the end, there's so many reasons that life is just not really living. And I've got 3 daughters as well, and I don't feel like I'm a good example for them. So you do get depressive. I wouldn't say depressed. I don't feel like I've ever been depressed, but you get depressive. You get lethargic. You step back from activities. You don't create times with your family, like barbecues and all that sort of thing. And you come up with excuses and reasons that are preset there, almost like they were waiting to happen. Everything's tomorrow. And it's definitely not living very well, not living with power, that's for sure. So sort of the excuses are the biggest problem.
Absolutely, mate. And what did you try, I guess, before you started this program? Like, what had you tried in the past?
That's a great question. So I'd actually didn't realise that I'd never had a coach, actually. And so I tried different things on my own, but it was always short term. I'm a pretty determined guy once I get started. So I would be able to sort out my diet pretty quickly, and I'd start to lose a couple of kilos. But you're sort of not part of a team. You've got no sort of outcome end goal, and you don't have strategies in place to keep it going. So for me, that was a definite way to make sure that you're sort of wasting your time. I mean, you put your body under so much pressure. It's a bit like giving up smoking. If you're going to give up for a week at a time, you would have been better off just smoking all the way through and not putting your body under so much pressure, right? So I tried different diets. I tried different types of exercise with, we've got a running machine that hadn't been turned on, you know. It's like, wow. We've got an elliptical machine that my wife wanted, and we put it all together and sat there and looked at it, you know, for 6-12 months. And it's been getting a real workout now, so it's earning its value. So I tried a lot of things around food, but not a lot around exercise. Started walking, but so you sort of give up when it gets a bit cold, you know, when it gets to the winter months, or as you've said before, when there's always an event coming up. It's Easter, then it's, you know, cold winter, then it's Christmas, and then it's Australia Day, and then it's Easter again. You sort of put it all off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, mate. And that's the problem, I guess, with the masses in general. People find ways to justify to themselves to some degree that it's okay, I'll start again. But look, let's fast forward now, mate. 4 weeks later, we've been working together, and what are the changes? What's different between what you just suggested and hadn't worked to now?
Well, now my wife's involved as well as the kids, so we're sort of planning our week each week, which is good. And I guess I'm spending the time every day for myself. I'm creating space, you call it, and that's what I'm doing each day, is creating space. And where I do mess up, I went and got a Lamington early on and just ate it, and I thought, oh, hang on, what are you doing? But again, as you've said, just fall forward, you know, fail forward. So if you do fail, move on. Don't dwell on it. Keep on about it. You're going to be talking about a Lamington in 6 months' time? Come on. So nowadays I get up, I have my supplements that really have helped me lose a lot of weight, and not carting around 10 kilos. I can tell you, I took my daughter up the stairs this morning on my back, and of course it didn't feel like anything, because she's the 10 kilos I'm used to carting around all day. That's right. So, you know, I've got a lot more energy, of course. I've got a lot more excitement about what I'm doing. I plan a lot better. I didn't realize, I mean, I'm a project manager. You know, I lead programs of hundreds of millions of dollars of project cost. But I didn't realize I wasn't really planning my own schedule and my own plan for the week to be successful. So this has brought me that planning, that space, and the energy and excitement, along with the other guys, as part of a tribe or a team where we can sort of keep each other accountable and move forward. I mean, originally I thought you, Alex, might be a bit of an army sergeant or something. You know, I'm going to be in for it. But I was so happy and surprised when it was really just genuine, full-on support and authentic sharing for your own experiences that relate to mine. And the custom program nature of this RDM movement is really wonderful. I didn't have to go to the gym. I could work out at home, and I just gave away the excuses. So at the end of the day, what's changed for me is the excitement of each day, the planning for each week, the leadership of my family. They see that I'm doing something about it and taking responsibility, which is what I want them to learn, yet I wasn't demonstrating the same behaviour.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing, isn't it, what you said, like with having the group and that support there, and just failing forward, those little 1%ers, working at them every single day, and understanding that in this group, you know, I don't have to crack the whip, and we don't have to be big, tough men beating our chests all the time, trying to rage with hormones. It's about strength through vulnerability, and knowing that we have that in the group, we can support each other, and having that coaching network. And how have you found the Real Dad Movement group and myself as a coach?
Well, it's been good, because you know, sometimes there's excuses come up in the group, and I recognise those as my own as well. You know, and it sort of makes you think about who you are and what you're being. So you've never slowed down. I saw you do the opposite a couple of weeks ago, where you ramped it up, automated the tracking and management of what we're doing and how we're going about it. And that genuine and authentic leadership is something that really is so important. I hadn't realised that. Like I said, I've been doing things my own all my life, so it's quite a difference for me. So so that involvement with the group and the ability for each other to say, hey, how are you going with this? Or has anyone got an answer to this? Where can you buy this the cheapest? And that sort of thing. It's been a great support because it means that we can share tips and tricks and ideas, recipes for meals as well and things like that, which I'm pretty big on. I really enjoy spending the time now making food for the family. That's something I've never done as well. So having the others support there and knowing that there's other people out there busting themselves at their intensity level that'll give them a greater vision of themselves is something that's really nice to think about. You're not doing it on your own. You can get online if you want to and see who's there and answer some questions or ask them. And of course, you'll back up and support those with the science and the experiences you've had and the specialists in other areas that you know. So that's been wonderful for me and something new.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, having that group environment and understanding, I guess, with a lot of dads, especially when I find the Australian culture, mate, and how people, you know, are perceived to hold themselves. We've got to be the tough man, or we suppress our emotions, or we sacrifice everything for family. We've got this group here, and having that understanding that you're not alone. There's many guys walking the path with you, and we can all interconnect and relate to each other, which is pretty big too, I guess you'd find.
Yeah, so I did find that a big feeling of support. Even when I wasn't online, I guess I was seeing people's posts about, you know, just this morning there was a post about doing a workout at the beach and going for a swim, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll do that next week. And why can't I? You know, I'm near a beach. I mean, you know, why haven't I done that before? You know, I don't care that I'm running down the beach at 120 kilos. It's going to be 110. Then it'll be 100, and then it'll be back to 110 when I'm a big, muscly, lean guy. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I used to think, you know, people that were overweight that went to the gym, when I used to go to the gym a lot, I used to be really appreciative that they were doing something for themselves. Yet I didn't turn that into myself years later and say, you know, what can I do for myself? People aren't going to laugh at you. They're going to see that you're doing something for yourself. Being part of a group makes you feel like you're interlinked with others that are doing the same thing. So it gives you enough motivation to keep going and not just sort of stop and fizzle out on your own. I think that's the biggest difference, and that's why it's worked for me.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And thanks for sharing all that stuff as well, Tane. Like, we really appreciate you being open and honest with this as well. And you know, mate, how does the future look? You know, looking forward now, like, how does it look for you?
Oh, well, look, I can say I'm pretty proud of myself, and you know, I love the fact that I can sleep easily now. I'm getting 8 hours sleep, and that's not enough. It's wonderful. I've got the right support. I've got the right food. I've got the right training. I've got the right supplements. I've got the right recovery. I've got the right sleep, and I've got the right coach. So it's looking good for me myself. I'm becoming an athlete, you know, and I don't mind saying that, and I know that will one day be the case. So my next exciting thing is to put down a few goals that are a little bit out of reach, so I can make sure I reach them, and there'll be some things that I haven't done before. So I no longer have to think about the good old days. I'll be thinking about the good days coming.
Absolutely, mate. That is an awesome way to put it, you know, and you hit the nail on the head with that realisation of being an athlete and realising your greatness, which is absolutely what we strive for here in the Real Dad Movement. Not having the standard here and trying to get to here. It's like, where can we go? Don't worry about the good old days. Let's create some good new days, just like you said, mate. Well, look, let's say someone's watching this right now, you know, probably more often than not a dad watching this, and they're on the fence, not too sure, or they might be struggling, or they're obviously struggling if they're watching this and looking for that answer. Like, what would you say to them, mate? If they're looking right now down the barrel of the screen or watching this video, like, what would be your advice to them on making a decision moving forward?
Well, what probably turned me around the corner was thinking about, do I want to be sitting here in 6 to 12 months asking the same questions? Could I have? Should I have? Would I have? But just having that one goal of getting started. That was my first goal, get started. And you asked me to commit, and I did. And when I commit, I really do commit. I think that's a important part of being a man, and I think it's an important part of being a father and a leader. So when I committed, I meant it. I just didn't realise that it'd actually be easier than what I thought. as long as I committed properly and said, I'm going to do this, and committed to myself and made a declaration to myself first. But then what I did was I think you called it, if you really want to take the beach, burn your boats, right? You know, you don't have backup plan. I like that. I'm going to use that at work, because what I did was I did that for myself in two ways. One in the future, one in the past. The one in the past was I told my family. And then there's no turning back, right? You know, unless I want to be a failure in every area, and that wasn't going to happen. So I burnt my bridges in terms of telling everyone what I was going to do and what I was going to achieve, and that's what was going to happen. So then when I got to those last reps and it was hard, and I was doing burpees, which I hate, which are really, you know, not designed for a 138 kilo guy, I could keep going regardless. The way I'm going to burn my boats in the future is every time I go to a low, I've got more t-shirts than you can imagine. I've got, you know, seriously, I must have 1,000 t-shirts. So as soon as I drop down a size, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be chucking all those t-shirts on the bonfire. So I'm going to be literally burning my boats as I go. Yeah.
It's awesome, mate. Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing all that, Tony. You know, it's great to give some insight to some of these dads who just aren't sure, mate, or they think they're walking the path on their own, or they have no idea of the hows, and that's what we cover here. You know, the hows. As long as we make sure, like you said, mate, the commitment's there, and if the guys have that level of commitment, mate, we can show them the way.
Yeah, well, I've got to tell you that I was a bit negative on coaches and things. I thought, you know, what's the point of someone telling me what I already know? I already know a lot about exercise, a lot about nutrition, and a lot about supplements. So what I hadn't realised at all was there was no way that I remembered how to bring it together. There was no way to motivate myself to level and feel supported like I do. There was no way that I could feel the strength of character of yourself and the other guys in the group. So if someone's watching this and thinking a little bit negatively about coaching and it must be hard and you know, I don't think I can do it and whatever, then maybe have a goal just to start no matter what. Turn that goal into just keep going later, but to start with, just to start it up and take a chance, because the alternative is what I called it was sort of receding into the corner and essentially getting ready to be sick every month and planning my visits to the doctor. Not a very exciting way to think about how you're going to live your life. You know, it's certainly not a very good representation to your family. So being a man to me means leadership and bringing to the family what I can to show determination and strength, to show character and planning, to show resilience and staying positive. So if someone's not sure, consider that coaching is a way to get the best experience from someone else to help you through those early days when you would otherwise give up. You'd definitely give up on your own. I sure did. You know, all the famous actors and you know, TV stars and everything, they all got their private coaches and all that. Now I know why, you know. So I'm really appreciative of this opportunity and the value that it gives me, Alex. I've got to tell you. So yeah, that's where I would sit with it.
You're a legend, mate. Appreciate the kind words too, Tony. And that is true even regarding actors and high-end athletes. They've all got coaches, and what better way to move forward than to have a good structured backbone of this environment in the Real Dad movement, as well as the coach who can lead the way for you, because the reality is the world's full of information, more so than ever with the internet in the modern age. So how come the world isn't skinny, rich and happy? You know, it's more than that, isn't it?
Well, some of those people that have the money, they know, you know. So how do you go about getting a coach and, you know, paying them a fortune an hour? I don't know. For me, this is the best value I could imagine, and it's come at the right time. So someone unsure should grab it, because it's unbelievable value, and to be able to tee up with other guys and get online and use some of the tools and technology that you've set up, it makes it easy. and to track your food. I mean, I just can't believe that now you can scan a barcode on what you're eating, and it comes up with the protein and the calories and all that, and then it flows through to you. And so, you know, you can see that what I'm doing if I'm going off track, and there's better ways to solve problems. I guess the other thing about coaching that I hadn't really considered too much was that when you've got, you know, you're in pain, or you've got something going wrong for you, you're down in your calories, or you've hurt yourself, like I've hurt my foot and stuff, is to have a coach that's experienced in working around pain and working around injury. So, and I know that your experience is second to none in that, and mobility. So. Mobility wasn't something I ever considered either. So I'm very keen to get into some of the CrossFit exercises now, not just the repetitive sort of weight resistance, but more of the compound exercises. But, you know, that's coming soon once I lose a little more weight, and it won't be very long. I'll be very keen to get into some of that. What I sort of see that as a bit of a Hercules sort of type of activity to keep sweating it out all day.
Yeah, definitely. Now, look, you're a man of wealth and knowledge, Tony. So it's been amazing to have you as part of our group as well, and I really look forward to continuing on with you, mate, and having you, you know, ingrained in the group as one of the one of the staples that other members can look to as well for help and guidance as well in their journey, mate. It's been a pleasure having you, and I really enjoy what we do and how we work together, mate, and continue to move forward. And I appreciate you sharing your time with us today.
Thanks, Alex. And thanks for being so authentic with us. I guess for me, the term of being a man, and which comes from leadership and leading your family into a healthier place, is something that I'm keen to do next. And a lot of that is based on vulnerability. I notice that you've been vulnerable a lot of times, talking about some things that have happened that maybe aren't pretty, but, you know, they're nonetheless what's happened. And it's really good to share that sort of information it's genuine, and it shows you what someone's about. And I know what you're about, and it's wonderful for you to share yourself in this way, and get your expertise and experience out across many people that really need it. So I really hope that I can add value in a continuing way. I'm happy to, because I want to give back and put back in as well. I've got a lot to give, and I've also got a lot to learn. So from others as well that aren't yet on the journey. So I hope that they can join and be part of leading others like myself into a better place again and again. Definitely. And thanks again for sharing, mate, and spending your time with us. And look, we'll wrap that up there. We'll wrap up with this. And speaking to you, if you are a dad watching this, and touching on what Tony just said, like, this is a movement that's going to be carrying forward and creating a shift and a change in this country. And people might not realise it initially, but they will sooner rather than later, in the importance of having good fathers and males and role models to children and to society in general, and good support for their partners or their wives. And if you're one of those dads right now who's sort of sitting on the fence, you're not too sure, you've tried a few different things, you're watching this now, and anything that Tony and I have said has resonated with you, and you have a level of commitment that you know you want to create a change in your life, then we want to get you on board. And we urge you to take action. Don't let another year slip by. I know there's a heart of a lion inside you and inside of all the guys watching this who at some way along their path have lost their way and are really struggling to reconnect with themselves because they've sacrificed so much for their family and others around them, investing in them instead of investing in themselves first and being the best they can be. So if that's you and you're watching this right now, reach out, connect, find a way to get in touch. If this is part of an ad, click the button, fill in some details. Let's get in touch. Let's get you on board. And let's carve your legacy. Let's create a future together with guys like Tony and part of the group, and create an amazing shift that will last you a lifetime. Let's make this, instead of all the quick fixes and diets and fads, let's make this the last thing that you need to do. So thanks again for joining us, Tony. You know, you're a legend, mate, and we love having you with us, and looking forward to a great future ahead. And you know, thanks guys for tuning in and watching this video as well. We really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, mate.